All right, viewers, we are now cutting live to U.S. President Donald Trump's address at the joint session of the U.S. Congress in Washington, D.C. Listen in.
All right, U.S. President Donald Trump is all set to address the joint session of the Congress. There you can see on your screens right now, all dignitaries, lawmakers gathered there. There you have RFK Jr. on the screen as well. Donald Trump is all set to address the joint session of the Congress. This will be his first address since taking the Oval Office for the second time about 6 weeks ago. What we do know right now is that economy, of course, immigration, these are some of the big things on the agenda. We're also expecting that minerals deal that fell through last Friday to perhaps be signed, and that announcement, Donald Trump may make that announcement sometime during his speech as well.
Yes, Haim, and you see the cabinet making its way in before the president arrives. We just had visuals of Pete Hegseth coming in, the defense secretary under Trump 2.0. We'll gradually see all his top diplomats walking in, top dignitaries coming in before the man himself makes his way in.
Of course, now in the run-up to this meeting, all everybody could have talked about was that meeting in the Oval Office with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. We know, we've heard his comments now. He says that he wants to make things right with President Donald Trump and work under his strong leadership to secure a lasting peace in Ukraine. We have to see how that pans out. As of now, you can see these are the live visuals that we're getting from Washington, D.C. All lawmakers, dignitaries in Trump's cabinet gathered there waiting for U.S. President Donald Trump to come in and address the joint session of the Congress.
And this is his first address for the joint session. I think we can hear some applause. Perhaps we'll need to wait and watch who's just made their way in. And this comes within 6 weeks of his presidency. January 20th, he took to the Oval Office. Here we are on the 5th of March, and we're expecting Donald Trump to make his plea to the Congress to give him the funds that he needs for his initiatives. He will also be giving a report on all that he has achieved or set out to achieve in the last 6 weeks. The major tariff war has already started with some of America's biggest trade partners, that is China, Canada and Mexico. Canada has not taken well to it because of Donald Trump's moves. Canada has imposed return tariffs on the US. All of that is scheduled, is expected to be part of this address as well. And of course, the minerals deal, which Zelensky posted about just a few hours ago, mentioning that he is now ready to sign that minerals deal. He regrets the way that meeting went at the White House. He's ready to follow in Trump's lead. And under Trump's presidency and his leadership, they will want to move towards a just and lasting peace for Ukraine. So all those comments have also come in from Zelensky. And as of now, everyone is standing. I think Trump would be around the corner anywhere, anytime, any moment now would be about to enter.
Right, now it's tradition, of course, for the president to give a State of the Union address, which usually happens which brings you all the updates and all the progress that's been made in the past year. Of course, it's only been about a month since Donald Trump took office, so this is the first joint session of the Congress that he will be addressing, and which is why it hasn't been labeled as such, hasn't been either.
Vice President J.D. Vance standing right there, where Trump is expected to come in as well. House Speaker Mike Johnson standing next to him. And they are awaiting the U.S. President, who will be making his way with First Lady Melania Trump any moment now. This is going to be another opportunity for Trump to talk about all that has been done in the last 6 weeks. I think Elon Musk is definitely going to be in attendance. I haven't seen visuals of him yet, but 100% he is going to be in attendance here. All that he's done under Doge, that has again been a matter of a lot of, it has raised a lot of eyebrows. The kind of power that he has at this point, the kind of questions he has raised, the kind of emails he has sent, and the ultimatums that he's also issued.
Absolutely. Of course, the biggest concern being that a lot of people are dissatisfied with the way power has been handed over to Elon Musk in certain regards, and
on what basis?
On what basis? Because a lot of people have been contesting that he's not an elected member of Trump's cabinet either. But of course, those are some points of contention. we have to wait and watch what the big announcements during this address are going to be. As I mentioned, of course, immigration, economy, foreign policy, those are going to be some of the big issues. When it comes to foreign policy, we've seen a huge pivot when it comes to the Biden administration, even Trump's first term for that matter. We've seen how Trump has taken a very hardline stance when it comes to tariffs, when it comes to, of course, relations with Canada, Mexico, China. We've seen that rift play out between Canada and the United States as well. Of course, that jibe of Governor Trudeau that keeps coming up over and over.
I thought it was a one-off, then it came coming back time and time again. I think the recent one a few days ago, again he called him Governor Trudeau. Obviously, it irks Trudeau to the end, to the core, as one would expect. And
Trump's reasoning there is that if Canada wants the kind of concessions that it's asking for, it can't happen unless it's the 51st state of the United States. Again, that is a comment that has sparked a lot of uproar. That has been a point of contention between the United States and Canada as well. So we're already, it's about a month into Trump's presidency, second term in office, we're already seeing all these huge shifts in foreign policy. We've seen how immigration was the centerpiece of his election campaign as well. Of course, today, Shivan, from what I am gathering, I believe Ukraine is going to top the agenda. Of course, he is going to touch on tariffs, he's going to touch on other foreign policy issues. But I believe it's really the critical minerals deal that Ukraine has been hoping for that will be
and
big.
Just hours ahead of this joint address, Zelensky made it clear that they are willing to sign it at any time, in any possible way, as and when it can be done. I wonder where that was 2 days ago, what changed in the last 2 days, but then this is a stance that he has as of now, quite opposed to where it was on Friday when that meeting took place at the Oval Office. It may come up in this address, but I think Trump will be making a keen mention of the things that he has achieved in these last 6 weeks. Those executive orders, every second day something or the other getting signed, ensuring that all states sign them. There have been a lot of executive orders that have been signed in terms of keeping men out of women's sports. That was one that he ensured, and also the removal of transgenders from their military. There was another executive order. I mean, there have been tons of them. And at this point, he will be talking about the immigration issue, which has always been at the top of his agenda.
Right, and I believe, Shivan, of course, let's not forget the first 100 days. That's what he promised. All of these executive orders that have been coming at the speed and the volume that they've come in at. Of course, it all ties in with his narrative of the first 100 days and all the changes that he makes, which is why I believe this is not being labeled a State of the Union address, because that usually is a look back at the past year. It's only been a month, but a lot has happened every single day. New executive orders when it comes to tariffs, when it comes to immigration, as you mentioned, the transgender issue as well. So let's just see how...
You know, I remember last time when Biden came for the State of the Union address, the first things that he started was with, how he demonized Russia completely. And that was the narrative that the Democrats were carrying. And I feel even before Trump comes in, it's going to be a complete pivot shift away from what the previous government was. If you just take the same settings, same place, and it's going to be a completely different narrative which we are going to hear, as we've seen in Trump 2.0, which is completely different from what the previous administration was under Biden. The Gaza plan, that's also expected to come up here.
Absolutely.
That AI video, which was highly condemned by a lot of people.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
All right, there you have US President Donald Trump. He is at these are the live visuals that we're getting right now. The address is to begin shortly. Trump has entered, and of course he intends to talk about the first 44 days in office. He has already called it the most successful first month of any US presidency in history. According to the excerpts, of course, this was released by White House ahead of this address. Of course, he will also be defending his tariffs campaign despite concerns that it could raise consumer prices and slow economic growth. If we were to again take some of the excerpts, Trump has said that whatever they tariff us, we tariff them. Whatever they tax us, we tax them. That is pretty much his approach. If they do non-monetary tariffs to keep us out of their market, then we do non-monetary barriers to keep them out of our market. This pretty much sums up what Trump's approach is when it comes to tariffs as well. And of course, as I mentioned, very hardline stance that he's taken there. He's not scared to ruffle a few feathers.
Absolutely not.
Right.
With immediate neighbors, and when it comes to Canada and Mexico,
right.
Justin Trudeau has not taken kindly at all. He's given several statements of his own as well in response to the tariffs, which he gave Canada a 1-month pause, and then they've finally been rolled out. Trudeau said that he speaks directly to the American people, that it's the American people who are going to be hurt because of the tariffs that Trump has imposed, and in response to that, Canada has imposed reciprocal tariffs.